nice surprise and treat for everyone because we've managed to get 4 great startups to come and pitch to a panel of seasoned investors here. Sebastian Lafon will lead that the Pitchfest there.
Now, I think it's time for the startup Pitchfest. Sebastian, you and the team, you're on next. Sebastian, I think you're on mute.
I thought you were going to unmute me. I think we're good now. Can you everyone hears me? Yeah?
We can hear you fine.
Yeah, perfect. So it's great to see all of you. I think we have a lot of people outside of the US, so it's a fantastic event. We are about at the midpoint of the virtual conference, so I hope you enjoyed the format and you are ready for this fast-paced session with some of those brilliant startups and entrepreneurs that are reinventing the animal health. I mean, we've talked a lot about telemedicines and wearables, so you'll have a different flavor in a different format. So my name is Sebastian Lafon, more than 20 years in the animal health as global head of digital at BI, Boehringer Ingelheim, and before that, Merial. I work with many of you or many startups here today. And for example, I've worked on pet wearables, connected cryogenic D-words in the poultry field, launched Pet Pro Connect, which included telemedicine, and now I think has more than 1,000 clinic penetrated. And now I'm the CEO of Adapt First, a consulting company advising organizations on digital transformation. So it's really an honor to moderate that second Digital Animal Summit Startup Showcase for the one that are new and for the one that were there last year. I hope it will be exciting for you. Last year were the blast and an amazing round of startup. We're welcoming 4 startups today. And I'm just going to give you a reminder of the format. It's pretty simple. Each startup will have 5 minutes to present. It will be followed by a 3-minute Q&A session with our incredibly challenging sharks. I'll come back to them later. We have 2 startups in the field of precision livestock farming. We've talked a lot about it this morning. And 2 in the e-health category for the pets and horses. For me, the quality of these startups is impressive. I think we have at least 3 PhDs and many serial entrepreneurs. So we'll have Heiner for Pharomatics. He will tell us about robotics and how it will change the poultry operations. We'll have then Julia from Labby Inc. that will tell us how she will reinvent the dairy industry. Then we'll have Ben and Yael. So the presenter is Yael. Ben will be behind the scene. I hope it will work. They told me it will work, so I'm excited about that. For Mela, which has an amazing product for pets that they will present to us. And we'll have a strong close from Dorina at Piavita. She's in Switzerland, I think. And she will present an amazing new wearable for horses. As just Jamie said, those wearables are rising and some of them are getting more and more interesting for predictive health. I predict that you will find these 4 startups extremely relevant in the current context, and we've been talking about that and how lucky and fortunate we were to have some companies that really paved the way before what we are facing today. And now we're going to see about that those companies will probably be relevant in what we call the next normal. This term has been called by McKinsey, and it's not the new normal, it's the next normal. I like the term. I would like really to applaud these brave entrepreneurs that continue to bring innovative and critical solutions to market. For me, they are critical because if we look at the PLF side, as we've discussed this morning, they really help us to maintain critical food supply chain systems. And on the e-health side, they help us to stay relevant with pet parents that are really changing rapidly and their needs are evolving. Before we start, I'd like to say a few words and thanks our sharks. I think they are ready. Mohamed confirmed that they were all here. So we have Abid Moshin from, it was ex-Google X. For people that do not know Google X, I will invite you to look it up. It's pretty impressive. We'll have Imran Hake, which is at Mentos Fund and also former digital executive at Zoetis. And finally, we have Adnan Lawai, I hope I'm saying correctly, from Folio 3 and Mentos Fund as well. They will have a difficult task to select one winner. And if you were there last year, you know it was very hard for this extremely competitive event. So with no further ado and staying on timing, please help me to acclaim Heiner on the virtual stage. I think he's live from Spain. Heiner, can you hear us? Are you ready to go for this 5-minute pitch?
I'm ready to go and I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me as well?
We can hear you.
All right, so it says share, so you should be seeing my screen now, and then when you confirm that, I'll go off.
I think it works.
All right, perfect. So my name is Heiner, CEO of Farmatics, a company that is dedicated to increasing animal welfare and productivity of farms. We work in livestock. In particular, we have started with the poultry industry. We do this because we like animals a lot, but also because we're working with a $1 trillion industry that is growing by 200 billion year on year. We've started with poultry, and if my slide would change, it would help. We've started with poultry because we are raising 60 billion broilers every year, and 3 billion of which never make it through the process because they fall ill and die. They consume 250 million tons of feed every year, 3 million of which we could easily save if only we had better digestion management. And some of them suffer bruises and scratches, and they're not apt for human consumption. We could save 300 million lives from dying this wasteful death if we had better stress management on farm. We are Farmatics, the creators of the... Sorry?
Just to check, does everyone see correctly the slide? Because I see you in big, but I see the slide in small on my side. So everybody's okay on the slide side?
Yes,
yeah, we can see it.
Slides are best.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. Sorry
Slides
about that,
okay?
Heiner.
Okay. So we are the creators of the Chicken Boy, the world's first ceiling suspended robot that monitors animal welfare and helps farmers increase farm productivity. The patent pending robot is completely autonomous, and it assesses ambient conditions, health and welfare, and equipment failures using multiple sensors, but first and foremost, artificial intelligence, deep learning, big data. What we do with the robot is, well, there's a lot of fancy stuff that we do with the robot. First, we classify excrement. So we find animal excrement and we classify them. And from this, we can see early onset of intestinal diseases. We can see that often 24 to 48 hours before the farmer, and that helps us help the farmers avoid having to use antibiotics. We also help him manage mortality. We find wet spots on the litter, which are of course relevant for polydermatitis and other diseases, and we help find defective drinkers. We do thermal comfort, air quality, light, and sound, in addition to other things that are practical for remote monitoring of the farms, as well as alerts directly on the mobile phone, of course. But the really cool thing about our robot is that we can demonstrate that investment in animal welfare actually makes more money for the farmers. In our case, the robot has a return of investment of under 2 years, and we make 60,000 euros over its lifetime for the farmer. Our primary clients are the big vertically integrated companies, because they realize that it is very difficult to get new production licenses. So they need to make more out of the existing production capacity, and that is through the use of big data, basically. And we help them with that. You know, just one example so that you understand the dimension that we're talking about. Every % decrease in mortality generates 1.2 billion euros extra profit to the industry. And we help here by providing more insight, by providing better control and increased transparency. Company was founded almost 4 years ago by these 5 experienced gentlemen with particular expertise in startups, in instrumentation, in animal health and welfare, and in precision livestock farming. We now have 70 full-time staff. And we are working exclusively in the poultry industry right now because, you know, as a startup, we need to focus. But the plans are to expand that to other species, of course. this is somehow how it started long time ago. Now it looks a bit more like this. The team is very highly qualified, 3 PhDs, 13 masters, and some others, mainly technical still, because we are in that still in that technical phase. We are right now in 5 European countries. We would be in 6 if it were not for COVID. We are working with the producer of 1.5 billion chickens annually. We're in contact with producers of about 5 billion chickens per year. And we have, our technology is so versatile, it can be implemented in about 1.3 million animal sheds worldwide, nicely growing by 1.6% as predicted by FAO and OECD. This creates a 9 billion euro market. Our particular share of that is right now is tiny because of the small penetration of robotic products in the livestock industry, but it will break through the billion euro barrier over the next 2 or 3 years. And in order to make that growth happen, we have partnered with the largest provider of farm equipment in pig and poultry, Big Dutchman, itself a German billion-dollar company. And with this, I would like to end my presentation, and thank you very much for your attention.
Sharks, are you ready for the Q&A session?
Now I'm getting a bit scared. Eh?
Who wants to start?
I'll go first. So thank you for the presentation. It's certainly a very exciting market, large market. Can you talk a little bit about the alternatives that are available, competition or other things that farmers might do to achieve the same result?
Yeah, I mean, this is a blue ocean, right? Robotics in poultry is not a very well developed area yet. There are 3 more commercial companies out there. All 3 of them from France. There is also 1 US contender that is starting up. We haven't seen much yet, but there is, at least the intention to become commercial. So there is some competition. We're not the only crazy guys doing this. But our biggest competitor right now is manual labor, right? Which is expensive and difficult to get. It's all over the planet, wherever you go. You hear complaints that it is very difficult to get workers and much more difficult to get qualified workers. And the differences between farmers are enormous. I mean, some farmers can do 1%, 1.5% mortality, but in Spain the average is about 4%, and then worldwide the average is about 7%.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had a question. I think you said a lifetime is 5 years. Is that the lifetime of just the mechanical part? Like, why can't the machine just last forever?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So we had to estimate something. So the mechanical parts, they will last, for 10, 20 years, I don't know. But the electronics inside, that's the factor. And it's not like it will break. But the question is whether, in 5 years' time, the electronics that we're using is still going to be relevant. And that's why we are putting 5-year lifetime for the robot.
Hi, Heiner. This is Imran. Great presentation. 2 quick questions. As you know, and you mentioned that this is new for this space, but as we know, AI also is based on a lot of data. So how are you ensuring that the AI and ML algos that you have are going to produce results? And so that's the first part of the question. Second part of the question is, how are you dealing with infrastructure, Wi-Fi, etc., for these producers and farmers?
Yeah, thanks. 2 really good questions. So, getting it robust, that is really taking a lot more time than we thought, and that probably also explains why we are, 4 years down the road and only starting with the real commercialization of our products. So it is tremendously difficult to get this generalized over all kinds of farms everywhere in the world, and the only way you can get this done is by collecting data from a large variety of farms. So we have chosen for our installations, a large variety with different characteristics of the farms to make sure that we have enough data. And then it's a lot of work, So, we use all kinds of resources for labeling. As you can imagine, this is both internal but also external. Mechanical Turk, for example, we use that tool in order to label large quantities of pictures so we get enough data. Wi-Fi is also a concern. It depends a bit on where you are. So there are some countries where it's better, some where it's worse. We have made some experience with satellite Wi-Fi, which is now available in many places for very reasonable prices. But I mean, the main tool for us is that we run the AI actually on the robot itself. So we do edge computing and thereby greatly reduce the amount of data that we need to transmit. So we can live on a 2G connection. Remember before 3G there was 2G. So on a 2G connection we can survive. You can transmit a lot of pictures then, but we can do our job.
Okay, maybe, and sorry for this very, very tight format. Maybe one last question. I know, Abid, you may want to have another last question or no?
Sure. Can you talk about, you're starting with poultry, that's great, but can you talk about either ways in which you can expand or use the same technology into something else, new markets?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be livestock, right? So we are working on livestock. That's right now is the at least our description. So we will go to other species of livestock, pigs in particular, large group houses and pigs. That's also very much feasible from an economic point of view with our technology. In dairy, there is a bit more already present. So there's a bit more technology already in the space. So probably we will not go for dairy first. But then there's also cattle, of course, But this is we are working right now on in-house. This does not have to remain that way. So we have the robot hanging from the ceiling because that gives us access to the animals from the first to the very last day, which is not true for a floor-based system. But in cattle or in other animals, this is a different game.
Okay, thank you so much, Heiner, for the great presentation. Thank you, the Sharks, for the questions. Let's try to move to Julia now for Blabbing. Julia, can you share your screen? Are you all set up? And please, just housekeeping-wise, at the end of the presentation, if you could stop share, this way it will be easier for everyone to talk. So as soon as you're done with the presentation, stop sharing. Julia, we can't hear you. Maybe you have to unmute.
Yeah, here I was.
Are you good?
Yeah,
Yes?
let me share my screen.
And remember to stop share at the end of the presentation, please.
Great, thank you. All right, just a little logistic. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. So good morning or good afternoon. Thank you for everyone. So my name's give me 1 second here. All right. Sorry, just little. All right, just start over. Sorry. All right, can everyone still see it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So good morning or good afternoon. So thanks mentors and sharks and the audience. My name is Julia. I'm the CEO of Labby. Labby, born of MIT, we are building solutions that address 32 billion annual loss in the dairy industry. So many of you might have never been to a dairy farm. A farmer works long hours to produce the milk we need, and they often struggle to keep their dairy cows healthy from mastitis. Mastitis is, by the way, is other infection for dairy cow. So mastitis is the most expensive disease among the dairy cattle. It reduces milk yields and milk quality. And even worse, symptomatic cows spread the mastitis among the herd and cause milk contamination in the supply chain. So why does this matter? Because the farmer gets paid based on milk production yields and quality. So loss from mastitis is up to 10% of dairy farmers' annual revenue. That is about 1.8 billion loss in the US alone every year. So currently, farm only get milk testing for each cow only once a month. And between the tests, farmers really have little indication as to which cows or how many cows are sick. And even worse, one sick animal can contain entire delivery of milk. So that is why we created Labby. Our technology enables rapid, cost-effective, and lab-grade milk testing. It provides milk composition and quality information, including milk fat, protein, and somatic cell count. The results can be viewed on the web or on smartphone instantly. This allows farmers to easily identify cows with asymptomatic mastitis and limit the transmission to the rest. So the quick demo, you can see how our product work in the real life. So farmer was for, yeah. So our device work on the farm. Farmer can pick up a cow milk from any cows and insert into our device. In just under 10 seconds, the farmer got the results for the cow. So this helps them identify which cow is sick. And for farmers with tens, thousands, or hundreds of thousands dairy farms, being able to automatically identify the sick cows among the herd is critical. So our inline sensing device just completes the process. In our fully integrated device, will once integrated with the existing milking system, and each time when the milking starts, our device will test milk quality for every single cow and red flag any abnormal results, so that farmer can precisely pinpoint the symptomatic cows. Now, all of the data generated by our Labby device can unleash the power of precision dairy, providing insights on herd health and farm operation that is urgently needed for the industry. We charge a subscription that is comparable to the existing monthly testing. So for the same amount of money, farmer can now get a direct, get daily checkup rather than once a month. And our pilot partners include, So farmer pay, right now they pay, each mastitis costs about $500 per case. And we charge $1,500 per hardware and $5 per cow per month. So farmer can really get their money back within a few months. And ROI look from each year, we look at from daily spending, daily cost. So the ROI for the farmer is 6 times. There are 250 million cows worldwide, including 23 million in the EU and 9 million in the US. Our total addressable market is 12 billion. And our end of year target run rate is right now is about 500K, $500,000. In just 3 years, we expect this to become 5 million. Our demo project partners including multinational dairy companies such as Dairy One and Delaval. Since our early launch 9 months ago, we already have 3 customers already on board, and with 5 more signing up this quarter. So we're a team of entrepreneurs from MIT. Together, we have over 20 years combined experience in engineering, sales and marketing, and management to lead the company from lab to the market. So Labby has a proven method of stopping 32 billion of annual loss in the dairy industry. We have satisfied customers who love our technology, and we're on track to 10 times revenue next year. As they say, milk does the body good. So Labby is here to protect our food supply and help deliver the healthy milk for everyone.
Great job, Julia.
Let me stop sharing.
Yes, the sharks, are they ready? Who wants to start? Imran. We can't hear you, Imran.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Oh, okay, sorry about that. Hi, Julia. Nice presentation. I have 3 mini questions. The first one is for your testing, is it sample testing or you have to test all the milk from all the cows in that parlor? That's the first mini question. The second one is, are you only testing for mastitis or other diseases as well? And then of the customers that you have, are there any paying customers or it's just early pilots?
Yes. Good question. So let me answer one by one. The first one is about bulk tank level testing or per each individual cow. So we can do both. We have this portable handheld you see in the early demo part of, right? That's just like your smartphone, very small. You can hold anywhere, paired with your smartphone. So you can do that per cow. If you have suspicion some cow is sick, you can just put milk in. You can also test on the bulk tank level. And we got a lot of inquiry from South America, because they like to have their own records. They don't believe the records they got from DHI is fair. But we also have inline sensing. Inline sensing is more fixed, that attached to each milking post. So every time, that's how we're able to automate the testing process. Every time the cow come in, work with RFID, we can precisely tell which cow is actually had a higher SCC or subclinical mastitis. So second question, I think, is you're asking about I forgot. Second device is regarding. Second question regarding.
If mastitis is the only disease you're testing.
Okay, I got it. So we test 3 metrics: milk fat, protein, and somatic cell count. So for dairy cow ketosis, that's indication. The ratio between milk fat and protein, that ratio directly connect to the ketosis. So we have actually paid the customers. Your third question, we actually had paid the customer from AgriCane. That's exactly use case, because right now there is no feedback between feed efficiency and the output from cow, which is the milk, right? So that actually we thought would just like take days, weeks before you see a difference. We learned that take just maybe a day, same day or next day. Anytime of the feed change, you're gonna see quality milk production or milk quality change. So that's we do provide three metrics. We do have a plan down the road with AI, with the data we collected. We can even predict. Right now we don't have a bacteria, but we do. That's our planning for the next year. So currently 3 metrics: milk fat, protein, and somatic cell count.
I'm just worried about time. Sorry for that. We are a little bit more than the 3 minutes. Maybe one more sharks.
Okay.
Quickly, last question.
I can go. So can you talk about like any competition, but and also including any preventative medicines? Can you do something so that makes the cows more resistant to having this infection?
We do have a competitor is from Canada, Canadian company, but we tackle the problem from different angles. So we all solve the mastitis issues in the dairy industry, and they're a few years ahead of us. But based on our customer testimony, our solution is effective. In terms of the treatment, we actually do not get into the treatment, but we can help the dairy farmer reduce their antibiotics use, because that is early detection, right? Early prevention. So we do that, but we don't get involved with the treatment.
Thank you, Julia. I love Labi. She sold me on the company because she says she loved milk, and that was the reason why she's really working on this project. So fantastic entrepreneur again. Again, in spirit of time. So now we are going to make that difficult transition where we have one person moving the slides and the other one speak. The team, Mela, with Yael and Ben. I don't see Yael. Is he ready? Can you hear us, Yael?
Yes, I'm ready.
You're ready. I see you now. I feel comfortable. My heart was racing.
Yeah.
So Yael, the virtual conference is yours.
All right. So hi everyone. This is Biggie. He's relaxed and happy at home right now. But when my co-founder, Ben, took Biggie to the vet for the first time, they took him out of the exam room into the back and had to hold him down to take a rectal temperature. And that really made him sad. Now, what if I had told you that you had to bend over to take your body temperature? You wouldn't be happy about that either. This is how pet temperatures are taken today. So my name is Yael, and I'm the Chief Technology Officer of Meetup Pet Care. And I have over a decade's experience in developing healthcare hardware. I'm here with Anya, our CEO and award-winning leader, and Ben, the COO and driver of these slides right now. He's also a great door opener. Our last company expanded to 3 continents and was acquired by Bosch. So introducing the Mela Pro thermometer. It's comfortable, it's fast, it's accurate. Measurements are taken under the foreleg at the axillary artery, which means that there's no more bending over. With a click of a button, you can read the temperature and send the data everywhere. Our companion app tracks historical temperature data, and we also have integrations with telemedicine, wellness platforms, and practice management systems. We're the first thermometer that can send information to them. Not even a human thermometer can send information to the EMR, the medical record. So Mela is powered by machine learning. This is a reference to that episode of Netflix with the robotic dog. It's powered by machine learning and AI algorithms that use breed-specific data to predict the temperature within plus or minus 0.5 degrees, which is clinically viable even to the FDA. The Mela saves them several minutes on every visit to let the vet focus on what they do best. Examining the patient and talking to the client, you'll see that screen, that's VetSpire. It's one of the EMRs that we work with, the PMS systems that we work with. And my co-founder, Ben, again, he's at a vet clinic right now. He just gave a product demo, and they're all really happy because there's finally an easier way to take pet temperatures. So our product roadmap includes a body fat analyzing scale, which both Nestle and Mars are interested in, and a pet pulse oximeter and EKG. But speaking of Biggie, he's actually the namesake of our second product, which is a body fat analyzing scale that helps address the 60% of pets that are overweight or obese. There's 120,000 veterinarians in the US and 200,000 in Europe. There's 170 million households that have cats and dogs, owning a total of 390 million cats and dogs. And this pandemic has proven that telemedicine is a viable alternative. We're in discussions with Vet AI, Petstock, and Ask.vet, who are the market leaders with over 4 million clients. And their research shows that 70% of pet concerns can be resolved without a visit to the vet. And that's why they want Mela for every single one of their users. The next product, this Mela Home, it's the home user version, slimmed down, it's powered by the phone, and it takes the temperature in 10 seconds. Same thing, axillary artery, and it'll be released early next year. So to date, in conclusion, we have received 200 pre-orders in the 3 days of attending the VMX show in Orlando. And by launch, we'll have integrations into 4 practice management platforms. That includes the biggest ones, Covetrus, IDEX, VetSpire, ProVet, EasyVet. Contracts with 2 of the largest pet supply distributors in the US, and that includes Patterson Vet and Jorgensen Labs. 3 telemedicine partnerships that can reach a potential of 4 million customers, and 3 retail chains, and that includes Petco, Amazon, of course, and Petstock, which is in Australia. And our channel partners' research and development and key integrations are currently in place, and we're expected to launch this product in Q4 with veterinarians and early next year with consumers. And our partnership ecosystem, of course, includes mobile vets, insurance, telemedicine, and more. And these partners are really going to help make a big difference in the quality of life for all pets, helping them live longer, happier lives while reducing the cost of ownership. And our mission aligns with 2 big movements right now. One Health, which is the goal of achieving optimal health outcomes, recognizing the interconnection between people, animal, plants, and their shared environment, as well as fear-free, because when you take a temperature under the foreleg, it's less scary than rectal. In fact, it's fear-free. So in conclusion, ears and rears are out, armpits are in. So if you believe what we're doing and want to join us and help us change the way we care for our pets and monitor animal health. Thank you.
Well done, Neil. Well done. Sharks, Q&A. Who wants to start? Abid. I know Abid wants to ask a question. I see him. He wants to ask a question.
Okay, fine. I can go. So when you showed the slide with the product, I thought I saw a bunch of other things, and one of them had a rectal label on it. So is it just the armpit thing, or is it other? Does it come with other attachments in case you need it?
So the base module, which I'm holding in my hand right now, supports 3 probes. So you have an arm sensor right here. So like when I turn it on, I can actually show. You can actually you can see that the doggy, the arm lights up. right? So the arm is lit right now. So if I switch to the ear sensor, same thing. You can see that. Oops, turn it back on. So the ear is lit up. Same thing with the rectal sensor. So we do support all three because some veterinarians are old school in that they want to take a rectal temperature just to be sure. But obviously, they still want the ability to be able to write back to the PMS software. So we don't want to stop them from doing that. That's what they're comfortable with. Because at the end of the day, it's all about being able to, take the temperature measurements correctly, no matter what method they prefer. But in the home edition, that will only be axillary because, pet owners themselves generally do not want to have to, take temperatures by sticking something up their pet's butts. So that's my temperature right now, 97.3 degrees.
You pass.
Thank you.
Any other question, Adnan? Yeah.
Yeah. What's your revenue model? Like, who pays for this, and have you modeled out kind of by number of users and so forth over the next several months?
Yeah, absolutely. So our retail price for the veterinary version is $120. And for an additional annual subscription fee we're still figuring it out, between $20 to $50 a year. It allows, we build in the integration to their practice software per device. So that's our professional model. For the consumer model, which we're still working on, obviously you only saw a rendering. That one, we're still figuring out what are the levers that will get people to pay an annual fee for the software, but the per device cost will be about $50. So we're still in the process of working out the full model, the revenue model for the consumers. Now, if we have our body scale, which is the next device, which is more consumer focused live, then that makes it an easier sell because they have to constantly keep track of the animal's health if it's overweight. So it's really an ecosystem of products that contribute to our own collection of longitudinal vital signs data, which then we will have an agreement with companies like Nationwide or Trupanion to sell to the insurance companies.
And just a quick
I had a quick question. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so just a quick one. Do you have, I wasn't clear on whether you have some of these devices deployed, and do you have feedback, or are you still waiting for that?
So we, Ben, can you launch the presentation back up? So there's a slide, in the slide, we're projecting a launch window of around December of this year for the professional version, and the home edition is going to be launched Q1 of 2021.
Very clear. If you want to maintain the time, Imran, if
Just
you have
one quick
very,
question.
very short question. Short. Not three questions at
very
once.
short question. Okay, one question. So let me just challenge you a little bit. This is one of many things that could be automated in a clinic. As we know, veterinary clinics have a lot of pressure, a lot of new devices. Is this not just a good to have versus a must have?
Well, it is completely automated. If we have a longer time to do a longer demo, I can actually show you our end-to-end integration, which already exists with Vetspire, which is what we've already been demoing that to a bunch of clinics. We have 200 pre-orders because they already see the value. The ROI on this is less than 1 day because they're saving hours of time, and the data automatically transmitting from our mobile app to the practice management software. So you don't have to walk across the room, forget the reading, and then have to come back and measure it again, which happens all the time. It just automatically writes it into the exam.
Time is up. Great job, Yael and Ben. Great presentation. Great job, the chart. And just to close this one, we have another amazing presentation from Dorina. Dorina, I saw you disappear. No, she's here. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. You. Can you hear me as well? Perfect.
Yes. Are you ready for it?
Absolutely, more than ready. Hi, everyone. It's great to see you. Unfortunately, only digitally, but well, that's the way we do right now. So let's jump in. Sharing my screen. Can you see?
Yes.
Perfect. So my name is Dorina. I am the co-founder of Pia Vita, and last but not least, we are caring for horses. So we focus on remote monitoring tools for equine veterinarians. And how do we do that? We observed in the equine clinics, probably not only in the equine clinics, but that's what we focus on, to digitize structures, processes, to reduce the time that is spent for every single patient in the clinic to just get a rough insight on how they're doing. We also face a little bit the very demanding client base. I guess all of you, and especially among veterinarians, it's known that the horse owners are probably one of the most difficult ones. And we also tackle the challenge. Now my video is gone, I think. Can you still see me?
Yes.
Okay. We also tackle the challenge that so far the insights and diagnosis possibility were most of the time based on very short-term recordings that the vets do when they are standing basically next to the patient. And how do we do that? So we started with a sensor unit, basically, or with a self-developed sensor triangle, which is now complemented with several other sensors. So this is how it looks like. The size is approximately palm-sized. That is wrapped around the body of the horse, and then the data that is collected is transferred completely wireless. It's attached on the fur, so it's completely non-invasive and does not interfere with any regular behavior of the horse. So it's completely objective recordings over a long period of time. So you can just leave it on the animal and leave the animal alone as also. We give the veterinarians a holistic insight into their well-being, starting with ECG and then heart rate, RR intervals, activity patterns, body core temperature, respiration patterns, respiration rate. So we go more and more also in the evaluation of those signs that we collect over time. It's continuous measures, so we can also track very nicely progress of these indications, for example, overnight, over longer periods, post-operative, isolation care, and so on and so forth. So these are, again, the patterns, and then the software part, which then visualizes all of this. We offer automated reports. We offer interfaces to experts, so you can also kind of outsource some of the work that you normally have to do manually. There are analytics and diagnostic tools, so we do not do diagnostic per se, but we can give targeted insights to say, okay, this seems to be an abnormality, and you might consider looking a little bit closer into this. And we also offer smart alerts. So based on every individual patient, you can set different alarm constellations to say, if there is any incident, for example, throughout the night, the one who is responsible to do the night shift will be alarmed remotely. The main application fields today, most and foremost for sure, is the continuous monitoring. So if you think about night monitoring, which is still so HR intense, which is always a little bit a struggle to enable, post-operative, of course, a lot of colic patients, anything that has to do with pain, intense care, and quite some isolation units that we've equipped now. As said, long-term monitoring, so it's completely uninfluenced. It's without any white coat effects. The horses can really be in their natural surrounding, and we also see that they are now faster referred back to their home stables, especially for recovery, because they can still be monitored without the heavy workload in the clinic. It's more and better service, of course. Not a lot of driving vets can offer an ECG analysis, for example, or really a cardio analysis, which then is the close connection to telemedicine, of course. It's objective documentation, so we have more and more clients who now also use this for pre-purchase investigations, because it really adds an additional layer of saying, okay, I did not only evaluate it myself, it's also an objective documentation, and I'm pretty sure I didn't miss anything there. And it's a fast and easy supervision. I mean, you really just plug it on the body. That is done within a few seconds. The horses respect and accept the belt very, very well. And you can just leave them and check on them from wherever you are and have some insights within a minute. This is a little bit small, but still I'm very, very proud of all the testimonials, which actually is one of the benefits if we can talk about some positive effects of COVID, because people have more time to talk with us, about us, and we received really amazing feedback, especially during these times. Just as a few examples, they were able to reduce the time to do a checkup by half. They can remotely monitor without any problems with social interaction with the owners. They can really reduce the time spent right next to the patient. These are a few use cases. I could talk about ages about our clients because they're fantastic, but I will skip this for now. Happy to answer any questions. Here you can just see a few of the top use cases that they use it for. These are just as an example, UK and German clients. We today have equipped 60 clinics, purely equine clinics and equine practitioners in 7 European countries and in the US. We have started selling early last year, and coming also again to COVID, we have always engaged very, very intensely with our clients. And of course, the whole recording is the recording scope, and the more data we generate, the better all the measurements get, and the more we can also provide in insights and for cumulated research. We have hugely celebrated that we recorded over 1,000 hours of recordings by our clients in February, and had no clue what impact COVID now actually has on our business. So we have now seen in the following months a continuous, really, really strong increase in recordings, which proves again that digitization just experiences a really, really strong push in the whole industry. And I do hope that the veterinary industry overall comes out of this way stronger and kind of a little bit updated out of this phase that we all struggle with.
Time is up.
Okay, time is up. All right.
Sorry about that.
No
I
worries.
have the boss ringing the bell saying only one question for the sharks. So, you know, choose well. I don't know who wants to start, but one question.
I have an easy one to start with. What's the monetization revenue model? I don't think I got the price or subscription or something like that.
No, absolutely. Yeah, we do a setup fee. So we help the veterinarians to figure out in their clinic what the biggest application areas can be. We normally start with intense care units and then help them with setting up. So that's basically hardware fee together with consultancy, let's say, to see how they can best leverage and then have a fast return on investment, which is normally 6 to 8 months. And then there's a subscription on an annual basis to have access to all the data, export, download, and so on and so forth.
Good. Well, congratulations. I cannot thank enough all the startups. I think was very excited. I got a lot of positive feedback on the side, and amazing job. Thank you so much for playing the game. Just for process standpoint, we will communicate back, of course, to the entire group who was the winner this year. And going forward, we hope that we'll be able to leverage those virtual format maybe for more opportunities for Startup Showcase. So stay tuned. Thank you.